Welcome on into the Wild Willie Podcast Show. I'm Willie Clone, and he is
JJ, baby. What's going on, Big Willie? I'm missing the glasses, Big Willie. I'm trying to get there and look at them.
Yeah, no, you tripped out. Everybody thought you were on acid. The last time we were on the pod, man, and I guess my eyes were tripping people out. Not my eyes, my sunglasses. I have the ring light right behind my computer. So if you checked out last week's episode, I had these big old aviator glasses on, and it just looked like two demon eyes were poking out of my glasses. And JJ could not get around it. He had a mental breakdown and couldn't stop laughing about it. But other people joined you, Jay. Other people thought it was hysterical too.
Yes, sir, Big Willie. We missed them. We was looking forward to seeing them glasses on you today, Big Willie. It was kind of you, Big Willie.
Yeah, I don't want. It's funny because it didn't bother me till you said something, and as you brought it up, and we kind of had a little laugh off. I can't stop staring at myself. So if you go back, I'm moving my head left and right, like, oh, I guess there is something there. And as you were talking, I was more focused on my eyes and listening to what you were saying. So I apologize. My attention.
No, Big Willie, we needed that, Big Willie.
Disorder.
Hey, nothing.
No, it was good.
Nothing like a good humor got done while we doing the show, Big Willie. We needed that.
JJ, as always, we like to catch up about what we had going on or what's going on with us, either from the previous week or the weekend. I'm gonna start off. JJ, my beautiful Holly, my baby girl, who was once 3, is now 4 years old. She is a Cancer. Her birthday is July 13th. And it's amazing to see that young girl, my baby girl, pretty much grow up right before my eyes. I know you have and continue to witness it because obviously you have twins and obviously your oldest, Sanjay. But I got to say this, JJ, and maybe I know you have a testimony to this. They tell you about the terrible 2s, but they don't speak about the wicked 3s. And now that she's 4, it's only intensifying. And the thing about it, Jay, and I'm just gonna have a dad moment with you. There's parts of your kid you love, right? There's different aspects of your kid you like. Man, I want my daughter to be confident. I don't mind the spicy and the sassiness. I'm in love with the fact that she has a kind heart and then she's a sweetheart. I love the fact that she loves to dance and she's social. But that mother attitude of hers and her blind, my mother was a stubborn woman, like brutally stubborn. I can be brutally stubborn. I know that's a trait I do have. But my daughter's she's the type of person, and I don't know which one of your girls are like this, but she's the type of young lady at this moment, and I don't know if it's going to change, but it looks like this is just who she is. She will do the crime and not run from the punishment. Like she is, whatever crime she commits,
do what you gonna do to
that's
me.
how she is. She's like, well, just bring it on. Let's just get over with. But 5 minutes later, she'll be a repeat offender. Like she doesn't care that, me and her mama gave her, a hard talking to or got after her ass. She will take it. And it's interesting because you respect it, but at the same time, you're like, damn, I don't want to be hard on you. Like I said, my daughter's birthday was this past weekend. My wife, who is part of, Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, they had their big national convention in Washington, D.C. So when my wife leaves town, obviously for a situation like this or work or whatever, my kids tend to kind of get weird. They get a real mommy-ish. I want mommy. Well, my daughter, who's currently in summer camp, got the word that mommy was leaving for a couple of days. So it left me at the post to kind of, take care of everything. Well, with that said, she decided to have a couple episodes while my wife was gone. And I knew what it was. And and one thing about my Holly, she's honest. She was like, hey man, I miss mommy. So I'm about to tear this shit up. And I'm like, no, no, you're not. We're not doing it. And so it was interesting that we did so much for her 4th birthday. We had like they had a princess party. So she had a couple friends. They all dressed.
I saw it. It was real nice.
Yeah. So they dressed up as princesses. They got the hair, nails, the whole kit and caboodle. They had a little runway for the girls. So we were excited for her to experience that. And leading up to that day, it seemed like every day she kept turning up. Like it was just, and to one point, the night before, once Akeisha arrived, came back home to be ready for the party, she had to close the door and have a hard talking to a black mama talking to my little girl. And I was looking at how I'm like, babe, we don't want to be in this space with you. We want to love you. We want to celebrate you. We want to do everything to make your day the best day possible for your 4th birthday, because you're only going to be 4 one time in your whole goddamn life. And we're trying to make sure it's a special one, but you are trying our goddamn nerves. And I looked at my wife. We were both turning into Samuel L. Jackson because we were dropping mud. And mind you, it's a 3-year-old going on 4. But when your kids, man, when your kids just lean on your last goddamn nerves, on top of all the other shit you're dealing with just keeping a roof over your head, trying to just keep money in the house, trying to just navigate, relationships, and you're just dealing with a whole lot of shit, adulthood, in one nutshell. And then your 3-year-old decides, you know what? I'm going to protest and I'm going to burn this shit down. And you're just like, little girl, this ain't the day. This ain't the day when we're trying to celebrate you. So with all that said, man, we had my daughter's birthday party on Saturday. It was great. A lot of those pretty little girls came out. It was a special moment. But my Hollies are something. And Jay, and help me with your wisdom and your own testimony. They say kids teach you patience. But I don't want to learn no more patience. I just want this. I want this little thing right here to just get right and act right, because I'm already gray. I'm dying my hair. I'm at that point in my life. I already got the gray in the beard.
You already see it.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
So the way she's headed, man, I may be bald by 50. She's stressing me the hell out, and I love her. But I don't know how you did it. What did you do when your kids were going through it?
Big Willie, all I'm gonna tell you is enjoy all the stuff that you feel like you don't want to enjoy right now, because it get worse. Right now, you are enjoying the good moments, seeing your little baby grow up from 2 to 3 to 4. And all I can tell you, from that walk, I seen her strut across that stage. All I could do is laugh and look at my wife and say, oh my goodness. I said, baby, Willie and Akeisha got some hell on. They got hell on. They got their hair. Cause boy, little Holly is going to be something else. Cause I'm telling you, these are the glory moments right here. But once they get up in age and start becoming a teenager, and that them hormones start changing, you think you got problems now. No. This is the smooth, like you in the airplane going up and you just level out right now. But in a minute, oh my goodness, them little hairs you got that just gray right now, you gonna look in the mirror overnight and say, God dang, where the hell all this goddamn white coming from? Because I'm telling you, Holly is gonna be a mixture
and like I said,
of you and Akeisha. When she got done with them hormone change, where y'all gonna be like, hold up, little girl, let's sit down right now. Where you gonna have to put that thorough goddamn conversation down, because it gets worse. Now you gonna always love them, but they gonna try you as they get older. Because for some reason, children just think that they smarter than us and they can get over. For some reason, we ain't never went through what they got done. They're gonna try to test us with, and they think we green and they can do this, and dad and mama ain't gonna find out like we ain't never did, like we ain't never had to go through it. And that's when they got done it. That's when the challenge gonna start coming.
And you're right, Jay. But, I think there's a part of me that, like I said, I love a lot of aspects of my daughter. I love her character. She's loyal. She's gonna fight for her brother. She's gonna fight for her family. There's a lot of things I really, really appreciate, and I love her. I just want to be able to get through to her. And she has that type of stubbornness like I had. So I know where she gets it from. That she's going to have to put her hand on the fire to know it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, baby, no. Like, you're speaking the gospel, Jay. Like, they're not going to go through anything we haven't gone through. They may be, my kids will be more exposed and have more options than I ever had. But I just know a lot of my shit that I went through could have been avoided if I would have listened. You know, even at this ripe age of 42, I still struggle with listening because sometimes listening is the hardest skill to develop. And you think,
now which one?
Go ahead.
Which one of y'all out of all your mama children, my mama used to tell me, and she did not lie, it's always out of all your children gonna be that one. It's gonna always be one.
Yeah.
That's gonna try you got done it and just gonna always put you to the test. It don't matter how much you instill in them, how much you do for them. Which one of you all was it that one that every time you look up, your mama, dad, or somebody had to get on because it was always that child. You knew you weren't supposed to been doing it, but some kind of form and fashion, I'm gonna do it anyway.
You know, it's interesting. I think my mom had 3 kids, my older sister, me and my brother, and then I have 2 other half brothers. My father had 2 other sons outside of the marriage, but we call them our brothers, so it is what it is. Nevertheless, man, it went in waves. My brother early on did a lot of dumb shit and was really just stupid, and then got in trouble for doing a lot of stupid things. As we got older, and once I got into my teenage years or preteen years, it all shifted when I started discovering girls. When the girls came along, when sports started to pick up, I started to get a little name and notoriety. Oh, I was all the way feeling myself. Like, to the point where my dad was like, listen, boy, there's only one way out this house, right? Like,
yes, sir.
It's going to be me and you. And the way it's looking right now, it's going to be you. And so those were, and mine were more teenage things. I wasn't doing drugs or drinking and none of that.
Oh, no.
Mine was specifically just not doing what I was supposed to do academically, on top of playing sports and chasing girls. Like, that's all. I was like, man, if I can ball and chase girls for the rest of my life, this is amazing. Like, I felt like I already found my purpose. But obviously there's more to that.
Exactly.
With that said, I think when I look at my son, on the other hand, I know I can strike thunder in his ass just by my voice and my stare. My daughter,
see, it ain't gonna be him,
right? My daughter don't give a shit. My daughter, like, you.
Oh,
stare,
that's gonna be the one.
You don't have to stare at me. So, and to kind of pivot back to your question, I think my brother in our early years was that guy. As I got older, it was totally me. I was just like, And
as Holly get older, it's gonna be Holly.
Yeah, but Jay, you know what it is too. Like, I fuck with it. I respect it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not right. It's not good.
Yeah, but you can respect it. You fuck with it in a good way.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
I respect the toughness. I respect that she's like, listen, motherfucker, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I know that axe coming down the road, but I'll just take that axe when I get down there. So I respect the gangster. Yeah. So it's a weird dynamic when it comes to parenting. You dislike a lot of things that they say or do, or things that really kind of disturb your spirit. But when you're in your quiet space and you're at home and you're laying down, you know, when I'm laying down with Akeisha and I laying down, we'll sit down and be like, that shit was kind of gangster she did. You know what I mean? Like, you respect it. You respect it. But at the same time, you just don't want it to. So that's what I'm trying to say is, the hardest thing for a parent is trying to harness the bad to kind of make a shift to the good, right? Because I do respect that she's tough, she's loyal, she's going to stand her ground in every facet. Like, she ain't taking a step back. And so I respect it. And I think that the hardest thing is, as a black father, you being a black father, raising a female, is how much do you let them get away with? You know, how much do you let them get away with being a father who loves your child, but at the same time, you don't want them to be the shit we despise on social media? You know what I mean?
Well, one thing I could say, Big Willie, I had to really my daughters would tell you, they probably thought I was the hardest, strictest person got done there, wouldn't let them do this, wouldn't let them do nothing, but they respect it right now. And they would tell you our daddy was the best, daddy that we can ever think about. But during that period of time, I was the worst goddamn daddy. Oh man. And I had to just sit there and tell them, Big Willie, I'm not your friend.
Mm.
I'm not your brother. I'm not your cousin. I'm your daddy. I'm not here for you goddamn it to like me. I don't give a darn if you can't stand me. But what you gonna do, you gonna respect me. So, they couldn't understand that then, but they understand it now. Why? Because they have children, and now they got to do the same to theirs as I was doing to them. So it's funny how you can't see something when you're a child, but when you start having children your own, you can actually see what your parents were trying to do to you and how to try to bring you up and everything. So that's what I had to go through. I had to have a firm hand, Big Willie. A lot of people want to be the children friend. You can't do that, because once you start got done being your children friend, they're going to start treating you like a friend. The things you got done doing with your children, trying to be the friend, when you want to try to discipline and respect them, they ain't going to respect you then. Then they're going to talk to you just like they do their friends, because they're going to feel like, okay, you hanging with me, you doing this right here. So how you gonna talk to me like that? If you talk to me like that, I feel like I could talk to you like that, because now you don't lost the ability, got done it, in the credit of being a parent, because you're trying to be a friend to him. You can't slip within that. You can't slip in that window of trying to be your children's friend. You gotta still be mom and dad. You gotta still be like, okay, I would like to do this with my daughter, but I can't do this with my daughter because I'm the parent. I can't treat my children the way I do when I'm hanging around you. I can't be around here. Big Willie, goddamn, what's up, man? Goddamn, fuck that, man. All this goddamn. And then I get around my daughter, girl, fuck that baby, goddamn it. You ain't got to worry about that. But then when it's time to discipline, you ain't gonna do that. Hold up, me and you were just having this conversation, and we were talking to each other, and we were cussing with each other. Now you want to try to tell me I can't do that? The respect ain't gonna be equal.
I agree. I think so. Just as we wrap up, as we kind of pivot to see what you had going on, the biggest concern I have, or my biggest fear, Jay, and I know you dealt with this, and you've dealt with this in their adult years, obviously because of the show and everything that has transpired over the last couple of years. My biggest fear, because I've partied with a lot of women, been in strip clubs, had multiple relationships, and as a father now of a female, the consensus with every girl that I found that was either troubled or had some shit going on is they lost communication with their father. And that scares me because, yeah, to your point, you hit it right on the head, Jay. I'm not here to be, whatever you think I should be. I'm here to be your father and solely your father. And I can see the girls that I used to date, and these girls were bottle girls and strippers and all this other stuff. They would have some had a toxic relationship with their dad, but what they all had, the common denominator, they all had equally, they all lost communication with their father at some aspect. And you could tell that lack of guidance. And, some of them would say like, oh, my daddy put me on game. He told me how men did X, Y, or how men do X, Y, Z. But they were also coming back around and be like, man, I wish I had somebody to talk to. I wish I had somebody to get that male perspective on why males think the way they think or why they act the way they act, yada, 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 yada. And it led them down roads. I know damn well if they had a male in their life, in their adult life, they would have never opened that door or traveled down that road. So with that said, as hard as I am on my daughter, and I don't think I'm too hard, I'm just strong-minded, I never want to lose that communication with her. I want her to be is like daddy's on my ass about doing X, Y, Z, but we can sit on the couch and she can spill her guts and talk to me about anything and everything. And I'm not going to judge her because of it, but we can navigate it together. And hopefully that builds, our relationship.
Well, get your bouncing shoes back on and got done to make sure you stay in shape, because boy, when she get up,
I already know,
and the dating starts, Keisha and Holly, they gonna love each other, but they gonna be at each other's throat, and she gonna call you. You need to come get her. I'm back to kill her. It's coming, Big Willie. I'm telling you, I don't see it in two different goddamn relationships.
I'm about to be his Holly ass all in between the washer and dry.
Woo! Yes. And you gonna be like, hold up. You gonna be like,
yeah.
Hold up, Keisha, hold on. Holly, hold on.
Oh,
sit down.
Listen,
it's coming.
I witnessed it with my own sister and mother, and how brutal that.
Yes,
it got downright nasty. I mean, my sister would be nasty and say certain things because she knew how to trigger my mother. But my mom would go scorched earth, like you know, you funky fat bitch, and they're like all type of wild. She'd be like, God damn, like Ma, no. So my mother used to get wild with it. With all that said, man, like I said, my sole concern is never to lose that door of communication with my daughter, and it's tough because I can see her now getting that sense of what to say and what not to say to kind of avoid the trouble she knows she can get in, but also get what she wants. So I can see that little brain of hers, constantly kind of playing ping pong. But it's interesting.
And she gonna be slick too. Cause boy, when I was over your house that last time we had to get together, I never forget. Holly did something, got done it, something came down, got done it. Holly ran around that darn screen door, ran around, jumped on that couch, sat down like she was looking at TV, like she did nothing. And Akeisha, like, I know goddamn well you did. Look at her over there. She kind of act like she ain't did nothing. She the one goddamn made that thing. Holly was sitting over there like that, like she was looking at TV.
That's Holly.
So, boy, I can see it coming. That tripped me out.
I already know it. As we move along, Jay, how was your weekend? What you got going on?
Man, everything was good, Big Willie. I thought I was off the grill.
Back on
Saturday
the grill.
Friday night, Big Willie. I went and looked at, got done at Jurassic Park, Big Willie. Got done it. We looked at it in 3D and D box where the seats was got there moving.
40X.
That was a very good movie. I heard Superman is good. Man, I loved it. It's more of a grown folks instead of kidded now with the dinosaurs. So they're actually getting down now with the dinosaur, Big Willie.
So can I have a confession? So
yes, sir.
And this will be a quick one because we got to take a quick break. Saturday, I did take my son Ford to go see Jurassic Park. Now,
did Ford like it?
Listen, so while the girls were off doing whatever they were doing for Holly's birthday and trying to make it special and sweet and nice for her, it was time for Daddy's Sunday, so I took him to go see Jurassic Park Rebirth, and he was excited. Me and him had a little hiccup in the morning because he wouldn't eat his food, and we kind of have a nap back and forth, so we got after each other. But by the afternoon, we smoothed it out. We went to the movie theaters, and while we're in line, he sees one of his classmates, and the parent is with the child. So Ford, being my son, super social, hey, they're talking, they're laughing, going back and forth. The parent goes on to ask me, hey, what are you going to see? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to take him to see Jurassic Park Rebirth. She goes, ooh, don't you think that may be a little too much for him? Do you think?
See that? I told you, more grown.
Right. She goes, that may be scary. I'm like, well, I'm here. He'll be fine. If it's too much for him, we'll just leave and it'll be what it is. But in the back of my mind, I was like, damn, when I remember be roughly around his age, I remember seeing Total Recall with the 3 titties.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Terminator 2. I remember seeing certain things I shouldn't have saw at an early age. And my dad was like, listen, you'll be all right. And anytime there was a sex scene, he would just kind of cover my eyes. When it was over, he'll just let me back to the gun violence and all the craziness that was going on.
Exactly.
So when we get to the theater, man, I'm at this point where I'm like, all right, he should be fine. And mind you, my son is super smart, knows everything about dinosaurs and planets. Like he's in the trenches with that shit. So when the movie starts, as you know, Jay, it kind of starts off kind of slow and conky. And then one of the first action scenes is the Montosaurus, the big dinosaur whale that's going through the water that's trying to tip over the boat. And my son is shaking. Like you would have thought he was in the movie. His legs was kicking. He was shaking. He was moving up and down. And so the whole time, so the whole time I'm looking at him, watching the movie, and I'm trying to decipher if he's scared or is he pumped up or I can't get, because I'm getting different reactions. He's giving me some of this, but he's giving me some of this, but then he's giving me some of this, but then he's like, So I'm like, okay. And so he turns to me, he goes, Dad, I like the Montosaurus. And he's like, who do you like? I was like, right now I like the Spinosaurus. So he's like, good. And so he's cool, no crying, but you can tell it's like a boxing match. He's taking it, but he's like, oh shit. And he's like, so it's those kind of mixed emotions. When the T-Rex came.
Uh-oh.
And
hold up. When he was sleeping or when he woke up?
The whole shit. When the T-Rex came out, I knew in my mind, Jay, we were about to leave the movie theater. Because my grown ass was like, oh, this is kind of like, I'm like, oh, this shit is getting a little wicked. And so with that said, my son, man, there's a part, and I don't want to tell all the movies, there's a part where T-Rex, he's about to get the little girl. And when I'm proud of my boy because he's stuck in there. he put the shirt over he had a polo shirt on. He put it over his knees and he wanted to duck in that motherfucker, right? He wanted to give the old 1-2, but his eyes wouldn't let him go. So he did like this, and I can tell he clenched down on his jaws, and he was like, Jay, he was like, you know how like you don't want to watch something, but you just can't turn your goddamn head?
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I looked over, he was like just like going like if he was on the ride of his life. He's like, oh! And when the T-Rex went to get that little girl, and you know, the T-Rex doesn't get the little girl, he looked at me like he had been on the wildest ride of his life. He looked at me like,
I believe you ain't looking at the movie. I believe the movie was your son. You looking at him.
And so it was an awesome moment because I'm proud of my boy. You could tell certain parts got him. But he stuck in there, and he learned, you know, obviously when we left the movie theater, he had the T-Rex glasses. He had the big old T-Rex movie bucket and all that stuff. And I was like, how you like the movie? He says, I loved it. And I'm like, okay.
There you
so
go.
I was proud of him because I thought after that T-Rex scene, the way he was shaking and moving, like, I thought he was going to do a black flip over the goddamn seat. I really did. But he stuck. He finished the whole thing, and it was a good moment between me
and that's how Dinosaur movie is supposed to be.
Right.
That's the movie I've been looking for when you talk about Jurassic Park.
Yeah, all the action stuff was really cool. I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the storyline. The storyline seemed a little stupid to me. The mutant. And
I agree.
I was just like, this is stupid. So I didn't really like that. But the overall dinosaur and imagery, all thing was outstanding. So I like that.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come on back. Why Willie Podcast Show. Welcome on back to the Why Willie Podcast Show. Jay, are you into summer love?
Man, what are you saying? Got done it. I just got through jogging, Big Willie, and boy, Klay, I had to come down and just let it all I mean, I was so hot, Big Willie, I ain't know where I was coming or going. I had to just sit down and just take it all in. Wet, soaked, every goddamn thing. Ooh. But I love it because I'm a July baby, and that's what I'm here for, Big Willie.
That is true. JJ's birthday is coming around the horn here.
Yes.
JJ, the reason I asked, are you into summer love? Because we have a new couple alert. Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion are reportedly dating. They have gone public. Now, this happened a while ago, Jay, because Megan Thee Stallion, took a picture at a pool in a birthday suit. No, well, not a birthday suit. She had a bikini on. And in the background was but there you go. In the background, there was a tall, light-skinned fella that looked like Klay Thompson. Well, the people went crazy and said, hey, is that Klay in the background? Now, Klay Thompson currently plays for the Dallas Mavericks. I imagine Megan Thee Stallion, who's from Houston, Texas, maybe lives in Dallas. I don't know. Fast forward, they had to respond to the reports. And so Klay Thompson came out with a picture, JJ, of him and Megan Thee Stallion kissing. So now it sparks. There are the new it couple. Now, for a couple months ago, it was Tiana Taylor and his name is Mustafa. It was the Aaron Pierre. That's who it is. They were the hot couple. Now it's Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson. What I didn't know, Jay, what I was unaware of is they're athletes who have a roster that's Hall of Fame-ish, right? Like Derek Jeter, for the Hall of Fame shortstop for the New York Yankees, who I grew up loving and watching, was historically known for dating A-list models, singers, actresses, right? He's dated the likes of Kate Hudson, Mariah Carey, on and on and on and on. So I said, let me see who Klay Thompson dated. Like, does he have a body?
I ain't never heard goddamn Klay Thompson really dating nobody. So he probably be low on the list, Big Willie, because you know when you hear people like Diggs, you know, with Cardi B, you know, he don't move around,
right,
deal with a lot of different people, and you see them in the spotlight. But you ain't really just heard Klay with nobody. So I believe Klay probably like the little square, you know, of basketball dealing with, you know, celebrities.
That's what you would think, JJ, but that's not the truth. Huh? The truth is he's a hot boy. He's dated the likes of Megan Thee Stallion currently, Coco Jones, and the list goes on.
Klay doing it like that?
Your man Klay Thompson, the other half of the Splash Brothers, who loves boats.
Now see why they call them the Splash Brothers.
No question. Your man is about boats and hoes, and he is representing the brand. he has a list of young ladies who you like, I didn't know they messed around.
Big Willie, we back. We back, Big Willie.
Light skins in.
We back, Big Willie.
The light skins are in. Who let the light skins in? Who let them back in? Who got bribed at the door and let the light skins in?
Yes,
because,
sir.
yes, JJ, you are correct. This is a win for the light skins.
Yes.
This is a win for the glowworms.
Yes.
This is a win for all those brothers who got teased for looking like El DeBarge and being the lighter complexion. Yes, this is a win. And so I'm here to say, Jay, not that my opinion matters and not that any of our opinion matters when it comes to another man's relationship, but I support it. I give this a thumbs up. You know why, Jay?
Too.
And I know you know because JJ and I, during Super Bowl New Orleans, we got to see Megan Thee Stallion.
Close up. Front and center in the front. Big Willie, I think she winked at me. She was smiling at me.
I think that we were standing next to each other. I think she winked at me.
No, Big Willie, it was me. Got that? I think she was looking at me, Big Willie.
I think it was really me.
Because she did say, I ain't know the old schools are coming here to see me like this. I think she was talking about me, Big Willie.
She just locked eyes with me. I think that's what it was. No, Jay, seriously. We watched this girl perform at the Super Bowl FanDuel party. And she was amazing.
Them knees right. Them Megan knees right, boy.
She could dance her ass off. She was throwing that ass. She was winding that waist. She looked all the way righteous. So this is a congrats to the great Klay Thompson, future Hall of Famer. Because you winning, my brother.
Yes.
So congratulations on
So
you and
pound
Megan's
for pound, he got the one now. That's the one right now in the entertainment, I would say.
Well, there's always been talks of who's dating Megan Thee Stallion. You know, like I don't know any athlete that's ever kind of climbed that tree. He's the first one that, in my eyes, that's ever gone public. I don't know what she's done behind closed doors with whoever, but they both have gone public and saying, "Hey, we are now an item." And in the summer love and in the summer fling category, I'm happy that both of them are together. Now, if it lasts, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's all right.
But
it's good.
For your boy Klay Thompson, it's a win. JJ, I gotta ask you, and I love to ask questions, and particularly about your love life because I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Can you remember a time where you did have a summer fling that only lasted during the summer?
Ooh, Big Willie, a whole lot of. Big Willie got dirty, boy. I remember I had that red Camaro with them T-tops down, boy. That was the year. Oh my goodness, Big Willie. I mean, it wasn't just a summer fling, Big Willie. It might have got done and been the whole summer fling, Big Willie. I ain't gonna lie, got done. I'm talking about, boy, it was on and popping, got there, Big Willie. I ain't gonna lie, I was something else, Big Willie.
Well, it's interesting. While we're in the mix of summer, there are a lot of people who are out and about and kind of either traveling or doing the damn thing. And there's always that one time in your life where you kind of hook on to somebody. Yeah. And maybe it's just because you're in shape, she's in shape, the weather's nice, the drinks are flowing or whatever. But I do remember I had a couple summer flings. The one that stick out the most to me is one in high school I had. I think I was a junior or senior, but I was dating a young lady who happened to be like my boss in a weird way because I was on a summer work program and I was working in this vegan kitchen. Yep, I was working in this vegan kitchen in the 145th Street Mart right across from the Apollo, and I was the do boy. I did everything. I cleaned, cook. I did everything. I was just pretty much I was all anything that they needed me to do. I did. Anyway, she was kind of the manager and the overseer. Yeah, she was only like a year or two older than me. Man, and I was right, boy. You know, I was working out every day because of football. I was hooping. I was in shape. I was looking good and feeling good. But the issue was my boss of the restaurant liked her too. And had feelings for her too. But so
I know you got fired.
No, he was older than her. And I was younger, she was here, and then he was older than her. Well, fast forward, me and her were kind of hot and spicy after work. My mom would be like, "What time you getting home?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll be home around 6." Man, I had gotten off 2 hours ago, and I was running the streets with her.
Yeah.
And with that said, me and her, I mean, we damn near did almost everything. If I would have had my own apartment, it would have been really, really down. But whatever. Fast forward, man, JJ, I'm at Hofstra University and I'm playing against Stony Brook University, which is on the other side of the island, right? So I'm Nassau County. Stony Brook is in Suffolk County. I'm playing against a young man who happens to have the same last name as her. She sends me a text after the summer fling, and after, this had been years we hadn't talked to each other. She goes, hey, I just want to give you the heads up. I hope all's well. I hear you're doing great things. You may see me on the crowd. My brother plays on the other team, and his number is such and such. So I'm going through my scouting part. Who's this son of a bitch? Who am I? It happens to be the guy. I'm going against all game long. I played against her brother.
Oh,
right?
my goodness.
Didn't know the man. Didn't know him at all. So when we get to the game, I'm in war mode, right? Like I'm in kill everything. I'm beating ass. I'm in savage mode. He gives me this look like, hey, man, I know who you are. You dated my sister. Yada, 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 yada. And I'm saying to myself, I don't know if he's saying hey, man, I know who you are. We cool.
Yeah.
Or, hey, man.
Respect. I know who you is. Yeah.
Right. I didn't know if that was, or if it was, hey, man, you dated my sister.
It's
and
on
she
now.
was heartbroken. And I'm coming to kick your ass.
Exactly.
So I'm all, me, Jay, I have the type of personality. I'm going to bite you before I wait for you to bite me.
Exactly.
So I tore his ass up for 4 quarters.
Ooh.
And I was hitting him after the whistle. I was talking shit to him. And I could tell he meant option one. He was trying to be cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know what time he was on. So I wasn't here. I was like, I'm going to tear his ass up.
Yes, sir.
And we got after each other. And to the point where he was looking at me like, man, why you giving me the extra shit? And I was just like, because I don't know what time you're on, dog.
Exactly.
I know what I did with your sister, and I don't know what she told me.
Exactly.
And so I'm just gonna say you want the smoke, and we just gonna have to.
So I don't know if the sister got him in trouble or what, because the sister might have not should have said nothing until after the game.
She should. Correct.
Exactly.
Well, after the game, we kind of dapped up. Sugar. I did see her in the distance. I kind of gave her a quick wave and got my ass back to my side of town. But those summer flings sometimes linger to other things.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the one that sticks out of my head the most.
Gotcha.
All right, we got to move along. I don't know if you noticed, Jay, but the show that I was currently on in the morning, from time to time in rotation, it was called Breakfast Ball.
Yes,
and
sir.
It was on Fox Sports 1. Well, as of Monday, that show has been canceled, Jay. They canceled that show. And they canceled 2 other shows, which was called Speak with Keyshawn Johnson and Michael Irvin, and Joy Taylor, I know of her. We've talked casually. Yeah. Great girl, awesome. She's a big name in the media world. Dealt with some things dealt with some things in the media. There's details to that, but I don't want to get myself in trouble. So there's some spiciness that kind of follows her name. Nevertheless, man, Fox Sports 1 just released, they said goodbye to Breakfast Ball. They said goodbye to the facility with Emmanuel Ocho and James Jones and Shady McCoy. I think Chase Daniel was on there too. They said bye. And they also cut Speak, which I just mentioned was Joy Taylor, Michael Irvin, and Paul Pierce. I think Keyshawn was on there as well. With all that said, they let go of those waiver shows, and they're supposedly bringing in the new. What's interesting about a show being canceled, and I've been a part of 3. They cut my morning show when I was at Barstool Breakfast and Sirius XM. They let that go. That was more of a company issue. That wasn't my issue. The show I was working on with Britt's still there. It was called Morning Men with me, Mike Babchek, and Evan Cohen. Evan Cohen is now with Chris Canty and company and Michelle Smallman on ESPN. You can catch them in the morning. I think it's called Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. If I am, I apologize. And now they've cut Breakfast Ball. The show I was on in full rotation. Now I'm in rotation now. That show's gone. With all that said, Jay, one thing I'm learning about this industry is that at some point you got to bet on yourself, right? You got to start doing things to make yourself more visible, and you got to be able to challenge yourself in ways that you probably are uncomfortable with, because the suits will always have the final say, especially in a corporate structure, in a media structure like this. I thought Breakfast Ball was fun.
Exactly.
It had a lot of moving parts. But what you realize, it's not just about the show, it's about the people who make the show. So like a lot of the producers who got released, and I don't know what their status is or their status overall as far as severance and all that other stuff, and how, if they're going to be paid. I don't know all that, right? But it just brings to light how many people who at one point are high on the horse and just like that
you fall off the
back
horse.
on the fall off the horse and back on the street. And some of our producers, like one of the producers I'm really close with, he just announced he's having a baby, right? There's another producer who did a great job, worked in multiple places. Now I think he's, just recently married. So there's this expectation because you live in this bubble or this media world that you're protected and things are going to be okay. But just like you hit a light switch, things could be over, and it has been over. Everything that has happened, or everything that I mentioned rather, happened around 2:00 on a Monday. Everybody reported to work, ready to do the damn thing, and they were all called to a room and and it was all over. The media world is an interesting thing because I know for a fact everybody that I worked with on Fox worked their tail off. They really did their best to make a great show. So much of it is on viewership, on and on and on. And there's some people who just don't, they just don't catch on for whatever. And so your whole time while making, and Britt can attest to this too, because she's on a morning show and she's behind the scenes. Well, not really, because they use it for everything now. But you're always waking up trying to be the best show you can be. And there's always competition. You're always looking across the aisle to see what somebody who's doing the same thing like you, are they doing it better or are they doing it worse? And where can you steal the glory, if you will? So it's been interesting. I got to shout out to Craig Carton, man, because he's the one that gave me the nod to allow me to be on his show. And what's also interesting, a lot of those guys on the show, we're all former athletes, right? We're all guys who played at a high level, like obviously Michael Irvin, Hall of Famer, Paul Pierce, Hall of Famer. On and on, there's a list of guys who are Hall of Famers who their shows are no longer visible. So now we all, including myself, are trying to find what's the next pivot.
Exactly.
How do we pivot and how we remain visible and how do we stay in this lane, even though once we get back into it, let's say another show comes on, multiple opportunities, whatever happens, we do know that the suits will have the say at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing. So it's a learning process. It's a humbling one, but it's also a situation where you look around like, man, I gotta now, because there's really no way you're protecting yourself other than doing your job to the best of your ability, right? And so now we're all in a space right now, and especially the sports media space where everybody wants to be relevant. Everybody that's coming off the field is the new hot kid on the block, right? Because every year there's a wave of guys with a name and the Pro Bowls and the resumes who want to get on TV to expand their brand, rightfully so. And so the guys who have been around, like myself, now the pressure gets a little hot, right? Now we gotta see where we fit, how we fit, and what can we do to stay relevant in a space that's getting tighter and tighter. So to everybody that to Carton and Mark Schlereth and Keyshawn and Michael Irvin and Shady and all those guys, if they want to continue their media careers, I wish them the best of luck because it's not easy, especially when you wake up every day really trying to put your best foot forward so you can make the best show and make it entertaining and knowledgeable as possible in the world of sports. So
I agree.
That's it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Come on back. Wild Willie Podcast Show. Welcome on back to the Wild Willie Podcast Show. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby. What we got going next, Big Willie?
It's time to talk to the people. Once again, thank you to everyone out there who continues to support and love and give us the viewership here on the Wild Willie Podcast. I can't do it without JJ, and I damn sure can't do it without our lovely producer, Brittany Smith, who's going to read us some comments on what you people had to say for me to me and JJ. So what we got, Britt?
So I wanted to do comments and sort of update because, last week we talked about the Carnival cruises, supposed new rules that was causing a stir everywhere. And a lot of people actually, wanted to comment on it and, had thoughts on it. There was an update because Carnival finally spoke on it, when it was going crazy. There was kind of silence from Carnival and they didn't say anything about it. So finally they had their spokesperson clarify some stuff to USA Today, and they made a few points, and you can see if you guys believe them. But first of all, they said, in quote, "Unfortunately, certain media outlets have blown this matter out of proportion. We have always had a wide variety of entertainment options, and for the last several years have communicated our expectations about guest behavior." He clarifies that Carnival did ban Bluetooth speakers, so playing loud music, back in late 2024, and that the cruise line also introduced a 1 a.m. curfew for guests 17 and under, but that policy dates back to 2023. And then he also says that the hand fans are not banned on the general, but that they're prohibited in nightclubs and other indoor dance floors for quote unquote safety reasons.
That's banned
As of
Right.
safety reasons as of June. But of course, people are not buying that, and they're like, well, what is unsafe about hand fans? And that also seems very specific to ban, say, hand fans in general when Boots on the Ground is just being popular.
It's one song.
It seems like a mixed bag. Half of it seems like rumors or like blown out of proportion, but some of it does seem like grounds to give you some pause and be like, are they kind of targeting or pointing towards some Black customers or the Boots on the Ground stuff? So just some food for thought for their comments and update on that story.
Yeah, look, I think you hit it right on the head, Britt. I think it's just a matter of you ban something that doesn't need to be banned. It's one song during 1 or 2 times during the day. The problem is when you get a collective Black folks stomping and clapping and swinging them fans, I guess it ignites a riot in white folks' minds. It's weird. And then the place where they do supposedly use these fans, which is a nightclub and everywhere else that involves music, it's banned. So I don't know. It still seems dumb.
How you gonna say it's not banned and then you ban it in the clubs? I don't understand.
It's dumb. So I don't get it. But
safety reasons. I guess they don't want anybody getting whacked in the head every time they do the flap with the
Big
fan.
Willie, you don't like the flap no more.
I don't like the flap. I just don't like the men who choose to dance to it. That's what annoys me. So. What else we got, Britt?
Okay, so just a comment. We had a bunch of comments on the Carnival cruise, and your commentary on it, and a lot of people agreed. Like one person said, at Natalie by choice, I'm so glad y'all are having this conversation. I turned 30 next year and intentionally picked Royal Caribbean for this exact reason. And there's a couple other comments who kind of agreed and said they prefer Royal because they've heard of the same issues that you guys are talking about with Carnival cruises.
Well, I'll pivot to Jay real quick. Jay, you just got off a cruise with you and your beautiful wife, So Gucci. Just had an amazing time. You talked about the experience and everything you love. As far as dealing with the people, do you feel like everybody was represented or had a lane on that cruise ship? Meaning, Black folks like to drink and dance and have a good time. We like to hear our music, and we like to hear our music around each other. Were there aspects of that boat where they feel like they kind of adhere to every demographic, or whether you felt like you was isolated from listening to your music or being around your people in any facet?
No, sir, Big Willie. As a matter of fact, everybody had different places of wherever you want to spend your time, where you want to enjoy. If you like 80s, 90s night, hip hop, R&B or whatever, they got a room and they got a time. We're going to be doing this right here from 9 o'clock to 12 or 1 or 2 in the morning. You can go there. If you want to go karaoke, you could go there. If you want to go to comedy, you could go there. If you want to see a show, you can go there. So they had a variety of entertainment all around the ship for whoever wanted to participate in that certain area or whatever they want to do, where you can choose where you want to go.
Good. I love it. What else, Britt?
And then switching to the Essence Fest conversation we had, just a couple people wanted to comment on, add some context or some points to us talking about the decline in attendance. At Dimples510, somebody said, and somebody else also, the only critical thinker also pointed this out. They said, I heard some folks and vendors didn't show up because Target was at the convention center and was a sponsor, and the Target boycott is still, a real thing. If you haven't heard, Black people or a lot of people are trying to boycott Target because they had rolled back a lot of their diversity diversity initiatives that they originally, placed back in 2020, and then they started rolling it back now under the, pressure probably from the new president and the government right now. So people are saying that's such a cop out and just disappointed by Target. So a lot of people have been boycotting them as a result. And so a lot of people have been thinking that's part of the reason why Essence Fest has a decline in attendance, because they chose to go into partnership with Target. And then,
I'll say this. I maybe that's part of it, but I do think that's a little bit of a cop. But I think there's a bigger issue. I think the bigger issue is historically, Essence Fest has been really targeted at an older demographic, right? When you talk about the Mary J. Bliges, the Lauryn Hills, the Babyface, the Keith Sweats, the Charlie Murphys, the Usher, even Beverly, Frankie Beverly and Maze, right? Those are for the older folks, and it's more of a mature crowd. Valid, some of the young folks may appreciate it, but every time I've been to Essence Fest and kind of party, it was never a super young crowd there. Like you didn't see, and maybe I could be wrong. And if I missed an act, like if I missed SZA, I don't know if SZA ever been on the stage. But my point to it all is the people who are spending money currently to see these shows are young people in their 20s, early 30s, and mid 30s. The older folks, they do come once a year to see their bands or respective artists who they love. But those people, unfortunately, are starting to pass away, or no longer interested in coming out their house and dealing with crowds and people and walking through the streets of New Orleans on a muggy day. They feel like they've done that and they're over it. So I think Essence Fest has to do a better job of finding a healthy and more productive way of targeting the younger audience if they want to get the buzz back. Because, you can adhere to or even support the cosmetic brands, but so much of what's going on right now, and I saw a couple people like Mandy B and Wheezy. They had something going on at Essence Fest. They were promoting. They have a new book out. Shout out to Mandy B. She was on the show. She leads one of the biggest podcasts in the country called Horrible Decisions. And so my thing to it is, in the age where sports, podcasts, anime is bigger than ever. I think Essence Fest just has to go back to the drawing board and figure out how they can attract more of the younger crowd. And I get a lot of this young music isn't good. It's bad. It's toxic, and it's not good. And I know grown folks don't want to hear it, but the young folks do want to hear it. So I think Essence Fest has to be selective on what artists they bring in that represents the younger culture and younger generation. But at the same time, realize that it's been a changing of the time. Folks who have been to Essence Fest for the last 4 or 5 years may be burnt out from going to Essence Fest because it's hot. Valley may like the food and the culture. But, a lot has happened down on Bourbon Street. A lot of people don't feel as safe as they. Now, by the way, we were at Super Bowl. Super Bowl was the safest I've ever felt in New Orleans in my whole goddamn life. But outside of Super Bowl, there's still things that go on. So I think Essence just has to realize that the people they want to show up are either, tired of showing up and they kind of fizzled out. And then the young generation feels like there's nothing for them there, right? If their grandmamas, aunties, or mamas ain't dragging them to Essence Fest, they ain't going by themselves, right? Like you won't see a young pack of 20-year-olds going to Essence Fest by themselves just because, that's just not popping for them, right? They may go party on Bourbon Street or get crazy in the first quarter. But as far as filling up the convention center and having a time, I don't think that's happened. So I think it has to be, they got to figure out how to kind of grab the young generation and just have more things that's more interactive and more fulfilling for them. Because like you said, Britt, the vendors are pulling out, local vendors are pulling out. They just don't feel like it's worth their time anymore. And that's a problem. And so they're going to have to figure that out.
And it don't help either when you're used to going down to the convention center and you getting your bags of free gifts and they charging $200 to $500 to get in either. And then they say when you get in, you're looking forward to getting them same gifts for free. But now they're starting to charge for the gifts.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jay. Listen, people don't like coming at their pocket, especially during these times. But if they are going to come at their pocket, you better beat them over the head with gifts and stuff they can take home and use. And I think, one of the things I think when we were at SFest a year or 2 or 3 years ago, they have to figure out how to get more inventive with technology, because technology is the wave. When you talk about VR, when you talk about simulation, when you talk about AI, when you talk about all these things who are starting to move the platforms that are moving platforms as far as engagement, man, our kids are iPad kids. Our kids are on a computer kids. So they're going to have to figure out how to get tech in the building because a lot of kids are doing the podcast. Streaming's bigger than ever. And so they gotta kind of grab that world if they want it to be what they want it to be. So that's it. All right, Britt, one more before we get out of here. What else you got?
Yeah, and then just one last comment to add on to the Essence Fest info. At Ray Ray All Day also wanted to point out she had heard about the Louisiana, a mayor in Louisiana say that Essence Fest received $2 million less than what it usually gets for their budget. So maybe could be a lack in a dip in funding, that maybe that's what affected why things aren't business as usual.
Well, you're living in the current climate we are in with the current man who's sitting in the chair who they voted for.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
So it is what it is. Just got to ride that wave. All right, JJ, always a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, my brother. I'll see you next week. I'm Willie Cologne, and he is
JJ, baby, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.